Have you ever heard of a marketplace where brides are bought and sold? Sounds unbelievable, right? But in Bulgaria, there's a unique and captivating tradition that takes place in the Roma bride market. Picture a lively bazaar where families come together, not just to trade goods, but to find the perfect match for their daughters. It's a tradition steeped in history and full of vibrant culture. Join me as we dive into this fascinating custom. It's a glimpse into a world you never knew existed. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all the eye-opening stories we bring to you here on Channel Eagle Discovery. Romani roots and cultural identity. Let's take a journey back in time, my friends. The origins of the Romani people can be traced back to northern India. Yes, the very people we often hear referred to as gypsies are actually of Indian descent. But here's something important to note. They don't particularly like being called gypsies, especially in places like the UK, where the term carries a lot of negative connotations. The Romani people prefer to be recognized for who they truly are. So, as these groups of people migrated westward, around 420 AD, they passed through regions like India, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, before settling in areas such as England, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, and Turkey. Today, it's estimated that there are about 10 million Romani people living across the globe. Now, let's dive into the mystery of why the Romani people left their homeland in India and began this westward journey. There are quite a few theories floating around. Some suggest they were captured and enslaved by Western rulers in the 4th century AD and brought to the West. Others believe they were recruited as mercenaries, brought in to fight in wars, and ended up settling in the Western world. Whatever the reason, their migration has left a lasting impact on the cultures they touched. One of the most fascinating things about the Romani people is their ability to maintain their unique culture and lifestyle, no matter where they settle. From fortune-telling to lively music, these cultural practices remain strong no matter the location. Romani men are often found working in music, tinsmithing, or livestock farming. While both men and women share a deep love for music and dance, it's something that truly defines their spirit. But life hasn't always been easy for the Romani people. Sadly, they often face marginalization and are not easily accepted by the societies in which they live. They tend to stick to their own communities, often withdrawing their children from school at a young age and living in specific neighborhoods where they can be close to one another. They also tend to marry within their community, which further isolates them from the broader society. These factors contribute to the social exclusion they often experience, yet they continue to hold on to their rich cultural heritage with pride. The Romani in Bulgaria. Let's focus on Bulgaria, a country where the Romani people live somewhat isolated from the rest of society. This distance has created a sense of separation between Bulgarians and the Romani community. Now, let's dive into the fascinating and unique tradition of bride markets in Bulgaria, which is the central theme of this video, and explore what life is like for the Romani people in this country. In Sofia, you'll find the largest Romani neighborhood. The people here are kind-hearted and deeply rooted in their community, but their neighborhoods often tell a different story. Many of the homes are built without official permission, on land that the Romani people have claimed for themselves. They move in, find a spot, and start building, creating new communities on the outskirts of society. This has led to tension. Bulgarians and Romani don't always get along, largely because of the reputation that comes with this way of life. For many Romani in Bulgaria, working isn't a priority. Instead, they prefer to settle on open land and transform it into a Romani neighborhood, further deepening the divide between them and the rest of the country. Issues between Romani and Bulgarians. But the friction between Bulgarians and Romani isn't just about physical separation. The real concern for many Bulgarians is the Romani's lifestyle, which often involves living without paying for utilities like water and electricity. These unregulated practices have sparked resentment among Bulgarians, who feel that the Romani are exploiting the country's resources. Many Bulgarians believe that the costs of these illegal uses are passed on to them through higher taxes, fueling a cold attitude toward the Romani. In the past, Bulgaria had a much larger Romani population. However, after Bulgaria joined the European Union, the country's borders opened, and tens of thousands of Romani people moved to various European countries, slightly reducing their numbers in Bulgaria in recent years. Despite the challenges, the Romani in Bulgaria hold Bulgarian IDs and have the right to vote, which has led to their involvement in the political process, sometimes in controversial ways, such as selling votes during elections. It's also important to note that while the term gypsy is commonly used, it's better to refer to them as Romani. These people, with roots tracing back to India, have brought with them rich traditions, including a strong musical heritage, which adds a vibrant cultural layer to their identity in Bulgaria. Today, the Romani people in Bulgaria live in shanty town-style neighborhoods, primarily located in the underdeveloped rural areas of cities. These regions are often neglected, receiving minimal investment from the state. The roads are filled with worn-out asphalt, houses have peeling paint, and green spaces are in a state of decline due to lack of care. When you look at their homes and the items they use, it's clear that their living conditions are far from ideal. Their quality of life is slightly below average compared to other rural living standards. Many Romani families in these villages primarily engage in pig farming. Their homes are not apartment-style buildings, but rather independent structures with small gardens, most of which are 30 to 40 years. The bride market's tradition. Given these challenging living conditions, the Romani in Bulgaria have developed a unique and rather peculiar tradition that they hold annually. This tradition, although strange to outsiders, is seen by these impoverished communities as a lifeline, a rare opportunity to improve their lives. Bulgaria faces significant unemployment, and many people live a middle-class life. However, the Romani, who have a much lower quality of life, view this tradition involving their daughters as a way to create opportunities for themselves. In the past, in Anatolian culture, if a man and a woman wanted to marry, the man's family would pay a dowry to the woman's father. This custom was often depicted in old Turkish movies, where the dowry was paid to the girl's family as a trousseau gift, and in exchange, the girls would leave their families. Over time, this practice faded away in many countries, and the concept of a dowry disappeared. Nowadays, even in less developed countries, it's rare for money to be directly exchanged in this way. However, the Romani in Bulgaria still hold on to this tradition. But this isn't your typical dowry situation. In those old customs, the man and woman usually knew each other and were in love before any dowry was paid. In Bulgaria, however, the tradition has taken on a purely commercial aspect. Romani families often take their daughters out of school after primary education, grooming them for marriage and, essentially, selling them. What's more shocking is that this happens openly in public markets, with no sanctions from the Bulgarian government. These markets, held at specific times of the year, draw participants from across Bulgaria, where daughters are exchanged for money with complete strangers. Cultural perception. For many of us, this might seem incredibly outdated and even primitive, but for the Kicha clan in Bulgaria, this tradition is still very much alive and is considered a vital part of their culture. On the day the bride market opens, a sense of excitement fills Romani households. Daughters are prepped to look as stylish and attractive as possible. Some Romani families start preparing a year in advance, purchasing expensive clothes and shoes to ensure their daughters look elegant. Once everything is ready, they take their daughters to the market, hoping for the best outcome. She's dressed in her finest, ready for a new chapter in her life. But the key here is finding the right groom. The price of the bride can range from 10,000 to 20,000 leva. But what's fascinating is that it all depends on whether the girl takes a liking to the boy. Contrary to what one might expect, these marriages are far from being forced. The Romani girls approach the market with happiness, seeing it as an opportunity. Perhaps due to their more traditional roles in society, these young women view the market as a vital step towards securing their futures. Now, let's talk about the dynamics at play. The price of a bride isn't just about money. It's about age, beauty, and the father's wishes. For instance, an 18-year-old girl might command a higher price than a 25-year-old. For Romani families, receiving a high offer for their daughter is a source of pride. They often boast about the amount they were once worth, celebrating it as a badge of honor. In this community, being valued in terms of money isn't seen as demeaning. Instead, it's a cause for joy. Family, marriage, and money. The whole family comes to the market, eager to find the perfect match for their daughter. However, it's not just the father's decision. If the mother or daughter isn't fond of the groom, the deal might not go through. The amount a groom's family needs to offer ranges from 20,000 to 50,000 leva, a significant sum, especially in a country like Bulgaria, where incomes are among the lowest in Europe. In this context, money plays a crucial role, not just as a means of exchange, but as a powerful element in shaping the lives of these families. Interestingly, the economic dynamics extend beyond just the local markets. Many Bulgarians, including the Roma community, often travel to nearby places like Edirne in Turkey to take advantage of lower prices. To put things into perspective, the current equivalent of 50,000 leva is over $27,000. Given the higher purchasing power this amount commands in Bulgaria, it's considered a significant sum for a dowry. Unique factors, like the rarity of blue eyes in Bulgaria compared to the rest of Europe, can also drive up the price of a bride, making these markets not just a cultural tradition, but also an economically influenced practice. Cultural norms and marriages. Now, while the idea of exchanging money for a person might seem unsettling, there's another layer to this tradition that adds to its uniqueness. What's particularly striking is that the bride and groom often meet for the very first time at the market itself. Imagine beginning a lifelong relationship with someone you've never even seen before. In Romani culture, especially in Bulgaria, families prefer their daughters to remain within the confines of family traditions, avoiding social interactions that could lead to flirtations or romantic entanglements. They believe that such behaviors could disrupt family honor and introduce unwanted risks. For the Romani community, the mere idea of flirting or forming relationships outside the context of marriage can lead to gossip and social stigma within their clans. To prevent this, Romani girls are typically pulled out of school early, often not going beyond elementary education. By the age of 13 or 14, they are taken to these markets, where they are expected to find a husband. As a result, Romani children marry at a very young age, making their presence in broader social life quite limited. For them, the bride markets are not just a place to secure a marriage, but a deeply ingrained part of their cultural identity. Cultural differences among Romani communities. It's important to note that while these customs are prevalent among the Romani and Bulgaria, they don't apply universally to all Romani communities worldwide. The group that upholds these bride markets is known as the Kalaidzhi Roma. At these markets, you'll notice the groom's family often arriving in older luxury cars, like Mercedes, to give an impression of wealth. Both sides, the brides and the grooms, put great effort into showcasing their wealth, wearing as many valuable items as possible. This display is not just about tradition, but also about social status and pride within the community. These bride markets are more than just transactional. They're vibrant cultural festivals where the Romani and Bulgaria come together to celebrate. Picture the scene. Regional dances fill the air with rhythm, and people engage in lively conversations, turning the market into a social gathering. While some Romani attend with the intent to find a life partner, others come simply to enjoy the festivities, soaking in the joyful atmosphere. The smiles and the crowd's energy speak volumes about the importance of these markets, where connections are often made in an instant. Bride markets in Stara Zagora. If you're curious about where these events take place, look no further than Stara Zagora, one of Bulgaria's largest cities, with a population of around 150,000. Among them, about 20,000 are Romani, making the community quite prominent in this urban area. The bride markets here are not just a local tradition, but a unique phenomenon in Europe. Given Bulgaria's status as a European country, these markets have the potential to influence other parts of Europe, drawing significant attention each year. These bride markets in Stara Zagora have become a significant event, attracting visitors from all over Europe who are eager to witness this unique tradition. Their presence boosts the local economy, with many people spending money in the city during their visit. The core of these markets is simple. For the bride's family, a wealthy groom is the ideal match, while for the groom, a young and beautiful bride is the goal. This exchange, driven by external beauty and wealth, can be seen as a mutually beneficial arrangement, despite the superficial criteria involved. One of the remarkable aspects of Romani culture is how quickly people from different tribes can connect and build relationships. Once a match is made at the market, the celebration begins at the bride's home, with the groom joining in the festivities. Dances and music, integral parts of Romani culture, take center stage as both families come together to celebrate the union. This tradition, filled with joy and cultural pride, marks the beginning of the couple's new life together, leading to marriage and the establishment of their own household. While the Romani people may not always be well regarded in the countries they inhabit, often viewed as uneducated or unwilling to work, they remain steadfast in preserving their culture and traditions without assimilation. Their way of life is centered around daily joys and living in the moment, prioritizing entertainment over accumulating wealth. Despite the challenges they face, the Romani community finds happiness in their own unique way, and their neighborhoods can be found across the globe. In this video, we've explored the fascinating marriage markets held annually by the Romani and Bulgaria, shedding light on a tradition rich in history and culture. If you found this content interesting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel Eagle Discovery for more insights into unique customs and traditions around the world.